Suave, your mind-blowing, thought-provoking, and eye-opening on-air personality, life coach, psychotherapist, author, and creator. Hope you guys having a suaveless day.
Yeah, and with that, let's commence to pay.
Okay, I'm so suavelous, you so suavelous.
Together we can fix the trauma that's befallen us.
Divine social interactions remains marvelous.
Mind-blowing, suavelicious talk, higher consciousness. But think, let not your hearts be troubled, Dr. Brother Suave.
Divine light give you double.
Yeah, listen, we apologize for this delays, and it's funny. This is the thing. Now, I pre-wrote this initial commentary for the night, so I'm just going to go along how it was going to go. It's just no coincidence how it happens the way it is. And I said season 6 ending in a year of review. First of all, my apologies for the delay on episode for this episode of the year review. Unfortunately, things happen, and that's why it's so important to master the serenity prayer. It said this allows us to minimize our stresses and anxiety. See, when a person accepts things that they cannot change and change the things they can, and knowing the difference, it makes life so much easier. So again, let's get this ball rolling. And so what happened is, of course, we normally start at 8:30, but we had some technical difficulties, and I posted that. But the thing is, this is the thing. We had some technical difficulties, but guess what? We didn't worry about what we couldn't change. And our producer, the brilliant one, he did everything he could to change the things that he could. And guess what had happened? So although we were like 30 minutes late, he knew the difference of the things he can do something about and the things he couldn't. So having a positive mindset, see, as I always say, I can is easier to say than I can't. And so you have to have a mindset of I can. And when you say those positive things, I can, things tend to work out for you. And we have to understand words have meanings and words are powerful. And a lot of times, man, we don't reach certain goals because we constantly saying negative things. I can't. Well, I can is easier to say than I can't. And this is why we have to always remain cool, calm, and collective and believe in yourself. And so, although at this time, we're going to get this show started. So what we're going to do is going to do the year in review of year 2023, highlighting last year's events, victories, challenges, struggles, losses, wins, experiences, interviews with icons, professional athletes, Hall of Famers, just a whole bunch of things that we experienced in the year 2023. And it's just a blessing. So, and even like sometimes I normally would have a guest or I would just conduct the show by myself. But tonight, man, we're going to have someone very, very special. And like I say, most times I do it by myself, especially when it's controversial topics. But tonight, I'm just, like I said, I'm going to do it a little different because I'm going to have the success architect. This is the brains behind the scenes. He's the producer. He's my friend. He's my frat brother and my birthday twin. So without further ado, we're going to welcome the wonderful, the brilliant, and the talented Mr. Sheldon B. Williams.
What's good? What's good? What's good, everybody? What's good, my brother?
Ain't nothing, man. It's all suave-tastic, man. Thank you for being a hero and never giving up.
Man, it's been Murphy's Law like crazy whenever I've been in and did the program. I left. God, first, so if anybody out there, I restarted. I did everything. So tonight is historic for me because I'm actually doing a real remote broadcast. I'm doing it on my phone. So
yes,
I just refuse to let one monkey stop the show. And I said, I don't care how long it is. We were going to stream, right? And we're going to be reaching out to people on that. You know what? Regardless, I love you. It's all about that. Can't change, and for some reason, I cannot change it tonight. Everything I could to try to get my computer and get my laptop working. we remote field now. Gonna see how it happens. It may be my sign to let me know how we're gonna go into the new year. I don't know. I'm just rolling with it, baby.
Well, it's funny that what we experienced is what I had pre-wrote,
That's
but we
something.
didn't give up. Just by the way, you're breaking up every other word, so I'm just letting you know that.
Am I?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So, listen, I know a lot of times, when you have the brains behind the cameras, a lot of times people don't get a chance to see how dynamic the person is. And so, so I just wanted to see if it's okay that we reintroduce you to our audience.
Oh, most definitely. Come on, man. This is home. We've been doing this when nobody else wanted to do it with, so we're here.
Yes.
Am I still breaking up?
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Okay, good.
So again, I just wanted to make sure we do a quick introduction of you, a reintroduction of you, because again, they don't get a chance to see you close and personal.
I appreciate that, man. I really do. I'm glad to be here. I'm more than happy and proud of what we accomplished in 2023. I was just listening to your intro. For able to take it from we went from Black Men's Dialogue that we have annually, the Black Women's Dialogue, the athletes that we have. This year, we elevated. We had a Hall of Famer this year. Proud of that. I'm very proud of that. And I'm just glad to be here and be able to get a chance to go over this thing, man.
Yeah. Yeah, man. And that's the thing. It's about elevating and moving to the next level, man, because we had a lot of amazing people on this year's broadcast, and that's the thing. And then the shows were very empowering, enlightening, and educational towards all of us in terms of our growth and the things that many people didn't know. And I know I also ruffled a lot of feathers, but the thing is, it's never intentional to hurt, but it's intentional to empower. And as I say to a lot of people, I can't afford to say things that are counterproductive towards moving our people to the next level. So I don't apologize for the things because, as you know, I'm intentional when I set up the shows. I'm intentional when I do the research. I'm intentional to in terms of delivering a message that many people have a hard time accepting it. But again, it's in our best interest. And like I always say, it may be hurtful, it may be painful, but I'm like a flu shot. It hurts, it's painful, but it's in your best interest. And so I'm just gonna do it. A lot of times we have a hard time, but it's almost like court. Once you hear it, you can't unhear it. And so it sits down in your subconscious, and I put my hand on a stack of Bibles throughout my lifetime. I've been told many times, and I'm not talking about 10, 15, 20 times, many times that they will say, Suave, I hated your guts. I hated your guts. You just this and this and that. And I had a hard time because it's like triggers. You said some things that I wasn't willing to accept. I haven't arrived there yet. I didn't get it. But like you say, one of the most painful experiences is pain and regret. And I regret I didn't listen to you because you had my best interest. I just couldn't see it. And so,
I agree with you on that. It's like that a lot of times. People don't see it because of personal, because of your confidence, because of who you are. So, like I said, here that we work with one year. So you might as well go ahead and let it go on.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing. Sometimes they take, certain things the wrong way. But as you know me, for years and years, I was a young kid, was grinding it out. I didn't grind out to not make. I made an investment in myself early in life. Everyone saw it, And so when you're talking about 30-some years, almost 40 years of doing what I do, this is not like impulse reactions, like many people who impulsively react to a lot of things I say that are, and that's why I say this will be a mind-blowing thought-provoking, and eye-opening experience. So let's get on to some of the topics, and because we have so much time to get this done, so I'm gonna just try to go through it. You know how we had, starting from most recently, the Good Dad Act. Man, that was an incredible 3 series. The numbers were high, people was requesting, and people was getting empowered. So let's just quickly discuss the Good Dad Act in those 3 episodes.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. The Good Dad Act to me is something that desperately needed for a very long time. I'm glad that it's setting a precedent for fathers, especially fathers who want to be involved with their children.
Mm-hmm.
I wish that this act was around when I was a younger father, when I was active with my children when they were children. Now, empty them, just my wife. So it's different now. But I of it. I really mental that will give single fathers the same power to empower themselves when it comes down to being a part of their children's lives, because so many of us from back in the 80s and the 90s had to really fight just to be a father for our, and our children was weaponized against us. And it's unfortunate that, the last show we had with the brothers that was speaking about the Good Dad Act was going basically the same thing 30 years, 35 years.
Yeah.
Really unfortunate.
Yeah, it's evident of how our legal system, both criminal and family, needs to overhaul. A lot of these laws are outdated, such as hanging someone for stealing a horse. These things are outdated. I mean, really, you're talking about, and the sad thing is, going to seminary and a lot of things I've learned and philosophy in college. The crazy thing is this: our laws, philosophy, religion made philosophy, and philosophy made our laws. And the crazy thing is, if it was consistent, we wouldn't have laws like this. We wouldn't have all these struggles. In addition to the statistics showing how important a father is into a child's life when in regards to self-esteem, substance abuse, dropping out, all these things, yet a father has to fight for this. This should be as automatic as it is saying the woman just get the children. It is so contrary to his own philosophy and how it was created. It makes no sense. However, we just appreciate to those who went out and fought the good fight, So I want to give a special thank and a shout out to Dr. Bernard Jennings. We appreciate that. And also we lost an icon. We lost an icon. This woman was a great woman. She did a lot for her community, serving the community, double digging, serving the community, creating the Miami Gardens, her years in law enforcement and public service, both in the community, but also in the community as serving as the first mayor. This sister did some things, man.
Absolutely. And people don't understand, and a lot of people take it for granted, Jazz in the Gardens, just something as monumental as that had turned from a local event to now a worldwide event every.
And you're talking about people all over the world can say, "Oh, I heard of Jazz and Garden," and then the thing is, it's right there in the same place that where they have all these Super Bowls, and we know the Super Bowl. Some people see it just as big as the Olympics, because the Olympics only watch certain areas, but that Super Bowl is huge and is in the same place as the Super Bowl. So really, she left so she can be gone for years, but she's known as the founder of that. But also creating all these black,
He hasn't gone for me though. She's still right here.
Yes, still right here. And this is just the thing, and then the privilege and the honor to work with her, served on the board together, and being able to pick her up when she would come here. When Mayor Shirley Franklin was here when they would have their mayor's meetings, you know, the national mayor's meetings, stuff like that. But also having access, the privilege and the honor to just call her anytime I wanted to and just to go talk to her and get some insight. Those things, man, you can't take for granted. These are people where people see a person from a distance and look up to them, but to have access to them, call them anytime you want to get some real, raw, keep it 100, you know, because she always did. You know, that was a blessing, man. And I miss her today, you know, and all the people she influenced. It wasn't just me. She's probably closer to a lot more people than, well, obviously she is, but you know, I'm just, you know, happy to have had my little bit of time with her.
Right, man. Sure, she was the queen mother. That's for sure.
Absolutely, you know, and you know what I was also excited about this year when we had the Black Men's Dialogue. I think we had 2 or 3 episodes with that, man, because you know, being able to discuss things when you have progressive Black men, being able to have conversation, being open and candid about some of the struggles and some of the victories and some of the situations that are also familiar with us as when it pertains to Black men who are striving to be the best version of themselves, trying to have healthy, functioning relationships, and being able to address their traumas, being able to address their struggles, and be open and transparent with each other. That was, as I would say, Suave amazing, man.
Absolutely, I agree. And she did affect many lives. She affect mine, and I wish that her and I would have had more time together. And that's what we speak about a lot: is planning for the next 40 years. I don't believe.
Yeah.
I don't believe it's too late, and that we should check on those that we love more often, because we look around and they're not there. And Mayor Shirley is definitely one of those individuals whose mind, whose spirit, whose compassion really had an effect on a lot of people's lives.
Yeah.
I was glad to be able to be a part of her celebration. I was glad to be able to have her here with you. We did a show with her singly. Which was great. And then we followed up behind as a tribute. And it was a great show. It's something that's going to always be there. I know a few people that worked for the city of Miami Gardens for a number of years. They still talk about the show now. It was very, very impressionable. It was very memorable. And there was a lot of love being shown. And I appreciate that. I really do, brother.
Absolutely. You know, and you know what? I don't know how much time we're gonna have on this one, but you know what I noticed? You know, what's been coming a staple on Social Therapy with Dr. Brother Suave is, again, as I was mentioning, the Black Woman's Dialogue and the Black Man's Dialogue, but also Life After the Gridiron. Yes, you know,
it's been amazing. We started off the first year, and you brought some people in. You did, but this past year,
woo,
amazing athletes that came on and that shared. We had Super Bowl champions. We had Hall of Famers. What did you ask for? They're being here on NPN TV and Social Therapy with Dr. Brother Suave, because you were able to talk with them to be able to share conversation with us that we normally don't hear these guys talk about. Only thing we do is we see them on the field and they're exceptional.
Yes.
You come to hear the stories behind it. And their insight on things. We pull a lot from those stories, brother. We appreciate
absolutely. You know, and being able to learn life's transition. You know, a lot of times when they used to say, you know, life behind the cameras, but we got life after the gridiron, because they're able to sometimes like reinvent themselves, creating cigars and having businesses, traveling around the world, creating businesses and having people work for them, and wouldn't even know if they owned the businesses or not. These are just many things, and as well as the challenges of identifying, like, hey, listen, you know, I'm no longer playing football. What am I going to do? What are the things? And we got a chance to get insight of what they was thinking. You know, and those were great. Even last year when we was able to see. And again, we didn't have him on this season because we had him on our initial season. But man, I'm just proud of, even with our initial one with Melvin Bratton. I mean, you're talking about he's getting, like in high school they blue chippers, and then in college they just all Americans. But he's getting like top notch first round draft choice, like the one who came from he had this year, who went to Indianapolis, the Colts. I think he got him, and then I just read something today. He got three youngins from is going to play at Florida State, and I'm like, these are all top athletes, man. And so we're getting a chance to see how our life after the gridiron is, how they able to do things after their career is over. I mean, I was impressed as brother Cersei, what he went through and how he was able to come back and reinvent himself. I think he has a cigar brand and just doing things and doing media. That was incredible to me.
Absolutely. And you know what? It's good to be able to hear the inspiring stories, because many of the stories where the brothers, they're broke after 2 years. They're bankrupt, they're unsuccessful, they're having family problems and things of that nature. So for us to bring these guys on, they've been winners and champions their entire life, both professionally and now personally.
Yes, absolutely.
Those are the stories that we love to share. Those are the stories that we need to hear. And hopefully those engaging stories are things that empower individuals to be able to draw from the stories of these guys and be able to continue to build their lives and be able to patch up some of the things that's possibly not working for them. Yeah.
Even when you look at, I think it was Al Richardson being able to make it to the league, being the second person to come out of Miami Central to make it to the NFL after. And the crazy thing is, if you would try to draft him now based on the injuries that he had, they wouldn't let him because of his knees and the injuries. But he made it and got a chance to play about 6 years in the league. That was incredible considering his weight, his size, and the injuries prior to getting even drafted. That's
especially back then. Especially back then when the technology really wasn't there, because now they heal 3 times, 5 times faster than they did back then because the technology has advanced so much. His wherewithal and his dedication and passion put him in a place where he was able to experience and enjoy the league, which is a great thing.
Yeah. And then you consider back in the days where, like this Hall of Famer, Mr. Larry Little, how they wasn't even letting them play ball at, they had to go to HBCUs. Then he's telling me that little bit of money played and how they gamble with your life, sending you way to the other side of the country and then sending you way to the other country like you're nothing. San Diego is so far from Miami, and playing games with you and then paying you what he said his contract was initially $12,500, but because they had him on the Texas squad,
exactly,
$7,000.
He wasn't playing in the glamorous position. He wasn't the quarterback. He wasn't a running back then. He wasn't a wide receiver. He was a lineman. Even though he was recognized as one of the best linemen in the game, still what he had to go through back then, especially being a man of color, being a player,
absolutely. And then the thing is, but he made it. And again, after all the odds, he's going to be enshrined. He is enshrined in the NFL Hall of Fame forever. Nothing can take that away from him, And but the thing is, here on Social Slavery with Dr. Brother Suave, again, he's on our archives, man. We gotta, think about these things, man.
Right.
Yeah, man. And we even think about like Lionel Dalton, man. You're talking about unrestricted, restricted free agent playing in NFL and winning a Super Bowl and playing 9 seasons and got big contracts and did well. I mean, that's a story itself, when you hear about these first round busts, second round busts, third round busts, well, we're talking about a free agent who did better and some first rounders, you know, and then to win a Super Bowl. Come on, a lot of people who are in the Hall of Fame never got those rings, and he didn't get it as some transitional play. He got it as a starter, a star. You know what I'm saying? Playing against R.I.P. the great Tony Saragossa, Big Goose. That's what he called him. Yes, I mean, wow, that says something, man. You know, and he's a frat brother, but he's living a life, man. You know, I talked to him last week. You know, I mean, he's in Costa Rica right now. I think he's going to be going to Panama. I'm not for sure, but it's just a beautiful life, man. It's a beautiful life, and this is saying life after the gridiron. That was just a blessing. And another thing that because I see we only got about 3 minutes, but man, listen, I'm gonna go through this, and I just do want to give a quick shout out to one of my you know, about coming back, trying to do something after having challenges in life. It was on one of my homeboys I grew up with, quite a couple of mango seasons older than him, but R.I.P. to Travis Bumpy Johnson Brownlee. You know how sometimes we have stories of people that, you know how people always say pessimistic things about, oh, they're not gonna be anybody, they're not gonna do this, and guess what? It ain't over till it's over. Right. So man, you know how some people go out a certain way, but he went out, unfortunately, as a result of what he was experiencing health wise. But that he made a life comeback. His wonderful sister was supportive, and this man got a chance to enjoy his family, build a relationship with his children before he passed away, and that was a beautiful thing. He has beautiful kids, but it was a beautiful comeback. And I would say, I'm like, comeback of a lifetime, and I have to recognize that, because a lot of times people don't recognize him. He's been gone a couple of months now, but he was a great brother in passing. And so, again, you know, we was talking about modern day successful Black men and how we trying to have better reputation because we have been not necessarily looked in a positive light, but the reality is a lot of great Black men out there. And at the end of the day, as much as they try to marginalize us, when something goes down, they ain't going to Oprah. They ain't going to, they coming to a strong Black man near you to say help. You know what I'm saying? They may get mad and vent talking about all these dudes, but at the end of the day, they're asking for our help. So it's evident that they need us. It just have to put that ego down. And again, it ain't no coincidence that our Creator put us in the head. So if you got a problem with that, you got a problem with his orders, his instruction, and the way he wanted it. So, you know, again, I told people, you got a problem, all you do is text them. You know, I say, Jesus on the main line, tell him what you want. Complain to him about why things are and why he had us the head of the household for whatever reason, regardless of how they see us and we fail things. At the end of the day, we have to prioritize our social perspective or our spiritual perspectives. And who do you choose?
Fair enough. And that's what I love about the chemistry here. That's what I love about social therapy with Dr. Brother Suave, is that truth is being told. And there's nothing like truth. Truth have a tendency to cut all the fake imagery, the fake narrative, and it creates a lot of controversy.
Yeah.
Truth creates controversy. People prefer to hear the dream, to buy the dream, to eat and suck up the dream, and truth has a tendency to disrupt the apple cart. But that's what you get in social therapy with Dr. Brother Suave is observation, research more than anything, which leads to truth. So that's the part for me that I really enjoy, and the part that I love the most, because every week even though we may have a subject that we may center ourselves around, you have a way of being able to bring out truth. Yeah. That will actually enlighten people, to send them to go do their research.
Absolutely. You know, and that's the thing, you know, I always tell people, man, again, as I use that narrative, complain to God, don't complain to me. It's like, you know, it's almost like a topic. That's why a lot of times I try to not bring on a guest when I know that it may ruffle feathers or it may appear to be controversial, because I would rather somebody like have an issue with me and I can have a conversation with them, because numbers don't lie. And sometimes we struggle with our spiritual perspectives and our social perspectives. So when I did the show, that broadcast called Bastards, Babies, and Blessings, and they were like, whoa, why, how dare you say that? And I remember having a conversation with somebody before about, I said, first of all, I didn't make up. The only words I ever make up was in my Suavecon. I didn't make up bastards. I didn't make up the word baby, and I didn't make up the word baby. Blessings. I didn't make any of those. And so when we are considered Christians or people, you got to understand this is a philosophy that you're following, a spiritual perspective, and that's your order. And so when you read that, I think it was in there thousands of years ago. I didn't make that word up. And we know what makes you come there. So when they get mad at me, I say, listen, again, you better text God and talk to him about it, because I ain't make the word up, and this, we do all fall short, but don't get mad at me. And also a lot of times we say things that really don't make sense. We just so used to saying it. Like, example, you do better when you know better. And people will argue me down, brother, argue me down about, you do, I'm telling you, you do, I'm telling you. And I'm like, really? I said, just slow it down, bring it down, bring it down, bring it down. Relax. And I'll say, how many times in your lifetime you did something, you know you shouldn't have did it, but you did it anyway. So don't start, and they say many times. So I like, exactly. So we all fall short. We all do things. And this is why we have an opportunity to repent. But we can't undo things that we already done as terms of creating our children. We just have to not compound it. We repent, and God gonna forgive us, but we have a spiritual consequence as a result. It may create a financial problem when it comes to child support. It may come up issues where baby mama drama may come out of it. There's some consequence to it. So it ain't just the child, it's the stuff that we have to account for and atone for. So those are the things. And so, and a lot of things that I said that comes with that is, it ain't a blessing. You gotta sin to get it. And so people, oh no, that's a blessing. No, that's just like me trying to get rich and I'm murdering people just to get those riches. We have to start looking at things the way it ain't a blessing. You had to sin. You look at things and say, this is a learning experience for me. It's something that I've learned from. And it's a blessing in having an opportunity to be forgiven and learn from it. You know what I'm saying? And so those are things like sometimes may be controversial, but again, it's not an attack on anybody, because I've been in the same situation. People say, well, what about you? Yes. So it ain't wrong just because you do it. It's wrong when you do it. It's wrong when I do it. So I'm not acting like no self-righteousness here. I'm just having accountability, holding myself accountable, holding you accountable, and wrong is wrong, is right is right. And we all fall short. But I'm not going to pretend what I did was accept because I want to justify my wrongdoing. It's wrong when I do it. And that's why when things happen, you have to look at it from again, social, spiritual, and clinical. So I look at it from a social perspective of, how society is marginalizing these things, looking at it spiritual, about the fornication, the adultery, all those things, and also looking at it from a social perspective, clinical, and how the stress and the trauma that comes in your mind as a result of feeling bad about something you've done, but also the financial ramifications through legalities. So these things happen to all of us, and so then I also, about from the beginning, how believing in self, following through after experiencing trauma, hardships, and life challenges, one can have a breakthrough and become a better version of themselves. So tonight was a challenge. We got through it.
To say the least.
To say the least. Yes, but guess what? We got through it. That's why we're talking now. And guess what? It became, I don't take none of it for granted about having a better versions of ourselves. You get it? Because we could have easily gave up. And you said, no matter what. See, you spoke that life into this situation. You spoke it. God, universe heard your determination. You know how you say faith without works is dead. We can believe something, but you got to do the work. You got to sweat sometimes. And you did it. We talking now. You know, and guess what? This show should have been, what, 2 weeks ago? It may be delayed. It should have happened 8:30. It may be delayed, but it definitely wasn't denied.
And that was my purpose. I said, I don't care if I do only get 30 minutes in. I don't care what we do. I wasn't gonna let the enemy win tonight. You know, that's just what it was. The past couple of weeks I was dealing with feeling ill. You know, and that's a little bit different. But the technical difficulties that we had tonight, I said, you know what, I haven't went on my phone yet for us to be able to broadcast the show in a real remote capacity. So tonight, I'm learning a couple of new things, and I'll get with that other technical stuff later. But I was just determined for us to come on and be able to recap 2023 because it was monumental for us. We really reached some milestones. We had some fantastic guests, and your evolution as a host has come such a long way, and that's another thing that I like about it, being behind the camera and producing the show, is seeing your evolution as you continue to have these great conversations with individuals that do engage, enlighten, and empower our listeners every week. And I'm looking going into 2024 and to be able to see where we go now. We have much more to share. So
Yes.
Forward to it. I'm looking forward to it.
And I think about the show we had with the Dr. Jones, man, from Belgrade. I'm like, wow, our background was just so similar, you know. And again,
the cities, Opelika and Belgrade, they're not large, but they create problems.
Yes. And the crazy thing is that we both from places was number 1 and number 2 worst cities in the state of Florida, and we are positive, productive Black men that's seeking to change and change the lives of our youth and our families. You know,
we forgive him to being a Michigan fan, you know, but they did their thing the other night, but we forgive it. You know, we understand that. Alumni is an alumni. That's just the way that it goes. But yeah, that was an amazing show too. It was great to see brothers develop into the individuals that you become, and not only that, you're setting a standard. You're setting a pace for younger guys that see you. And like you and I were talking about earlier, being able to have that environment, to be able to have that example of a strong, positive Black role model in your life is important, especially when that individual has the care and concern for you and sharing that wisdom with you. Because it's a lot of smart people now. It's a lot of people who know how to use the internet to research. We have so many resources of being able to discover information, but wisdom, is something that you can't get online.
Nah, it's the wisdom is that perfect intangible. You know, we can have billions of smart people, but hundreds of wise people. You know, because it's like talking to Mrs. Jordan today. You know, Mrs. Jordan is, I'm not gonna say her age on air, but the thing is, she was just bringing some good old, irreplaceable, old-fashioned wisdom to me. You know, now I don't know Mrs. Jordan's educational background, but I can tell you what, she's a scholar in wisdom. I tell you that much, because I'm telling you, she said something, and I came with an intellectual perspective. Man, she shut that down. and like I say, gave me some good old-fashioned, irreplaceable wisdom. And it's almost like when you humble yourself to listen, that job it goes down just like water, real smooth.
Right.
It's no choking. It's no comeback. It's no I'm saying though. It's no yeah buts. It's just listen. And I think that's the biggest thing in today's society when we get to a place that nobody can tell us anything and we're not open to listening to that wisdom, and those things can change our lives. It's a blessing when you get a chance to somebody sow something in your life and you're not being oppositional about it. And I remember, and sometimes people ask me why I'm so hard on people. And I say, I'm hard on people because how do you expect grace when you don't have any humility? You know, they and then when you check them, they were like, oh, I'm a victim. No, you should have been a student because you had an opportunity to get schooled, but you don't want to listen. You know?
That's where that chin check above the neck comes in. And that's the school, and that's the, you know, that's what the standard that we were taught. Sometimes you have to be quiet and listen, and you don't know it all.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that's really been the deception and the misinformation that's been received by a lot of people, is the fact that because you do know how to research, because you do have Google, you think you can get all the answers, but that's not where you're going to get all the answers from. And that's why I love this show, because again, it makes you think. Whenever you do cover those things, it's not a point that you're personally attacking anyone. If people need to get off of that. If the shoe fit, you wear it. I don't care. If the shoe fit, you wear it. Period. And that's what you're screaming about. But, you know, it's the fact that you do bring on that objective thought. You do have those great conversations to be able to share stories and enlighten individuals about other people who have physically and financially surpassed you. But that even though they've been blessed to be able to have all of these physical things and have access to these things, that they too have troubles and they too have obstacles that they have to overcome. And it's great that they talk with you and share those things with you, because, like, again, we see them on Sunday on football fields, on basketball courts, and these guys have a great life. They have a great life, but they face challenges. And for you to have those conversations and for them to open up to you the way that they do, man, how could you not want to be on Social Therapy with Dr. Brother Suave and listen to these stories and meet these individuals, even though you don't know them? By the time you're done, you feel like they used to live right across the street from you. They were your neighbor, because there's similar stories to what we have. But theirs is a little bit more momentous because they have so much more than we've had. And I'm that we've had. And I can appreciate that, man. And I appreciate you for that. I really do. I
think about my agency. And I used to tell my staff, regardless how smart you are, how intelligent you are, and how much credentials, certs you have as a therapist, if you don't know how to build rapport with your patients, then you will never get a chance to exercise your skills and show how good you are, because they're not going to want to talk to you. You got to have that, like that intangible. You have to have that skill set. You have to have the ability to connect. You know, you got to be able to do that, because how are they going to tell their trauma story? How are they going to tell you what's going on in their lives? How are you going to get an accurate diagnosis? How are you going to be able to treat when you don't even get an accurate diagnosis, so you're not even treating properly? How are you going to get a plan of action? How are you going to make a good treatment plan? How? If you don't know how to build trust with that patient, build rapport with that patient, it's just pointless. So it's important that you have those skills. And I remember someone was saying something to me, was like saying I was attacking. You remember what's that thing? Because I didn't grow up with those old cliches, like if a dog was hit, they yell. But it's a term.
That's close enough.
So and P, I'm not. It's it's not a personal attack on you, but it's attack on the behavior. It's like when I'm talking about um the deception of men telling about they're the fathers. Well, I didn't know men can have babies. So it said, well, you attacking women. Well, they the only ones can have a baby. There's no attack. I'm attacking the behavior that's directly associated with because why you no men can't have babies. We can't flip. You can't try to play victim when you're the only one capable of committing this infraction. So it's just like God. He loves us all, no matter if we're a believer or non-believer, but he hates the sin that we do. So he loves us. So when I'm addressing these issues, it's addressing that behavior that's associated with you. You know what I'm saying? Because I love our women, but that behavior, I can't say the toxic traits, the manipulation, and lying and deceit, not taking accountability. So it's like, me personally, if it could be my own child, it could be my own parents, it could be my own siblings. Accountability is accountability, and it's not dealing with gender. But what happens is, understanding research statistics and 50%, anything over 50% is the norm. We hate to take accountability for those things, and when it's the truth, there's no lying in it. It's like saying no lie detected. But what happens is when people don't want to take ownership, they don't want to hold themselves accountable. And when someone holds them accountable, they want to see it as an attack on them instead of sitting there saying, you know what, they are telling the truth. How can my character build if I don't try to make improvements and recognize what I'm doing is counterproductive? It's just like when I told somebody, if a lady lied to her child, she'll lie to any man. I'm like, no, because this is when you have a child deceived for 30 years, not telling them who their father is, send them on a wild witch chase, witch hunt, and knowing that it's just easy to say, I made a mistake, I'm not for sure, we're going to ride this thing together and we're going to find out. Because I know you need closure, even though if I as a mother say, hey, you know what, why would I put my ego before my child's need to know who their father is? To me it's easy, but obviously to millions it's not, because it's just an error. It's just a mistake that we all made when we was young. Because the reality is, if you got a child 30 plus years and you still struggling telling them, you ain't have it just now, you had it 30 years or 35 years ago. I felt so bad when I was watching Kirk Franklin incident, see the DNA test, do it twice, and still struggling with telling the child I made a mistake 52 years ago. But it was intentional, telling him who this was, that you was your father, and child built this connection to this man, and you knew. You could have told a child 52 years ago, and I guarantee that he wouldn't experience so much trauma and the person who brought him on this earth. You see what I'm saying? The stuff that we men go through, like, wait a minute, this is the one who was a puppet master playing with me a whole lifetime, knowing that you knew that this wasn't my father, and know that even if he was, there had to be a possibility that it was someone else, especially when you was doing something else. This wasn't one of those what they say what Jesus, like the catch, and they say this inception where Jesus just popped up and Mary's baby. You know what I'm saying? Don't play games, man. Don't play games. But unfortunately, our society could be being more progressive, as in our character, our humility, our integrity. But I guess money happens to be everything for us, and it seems to be a divisive element to families staying together and having integrity. Because I've seen when we grew up back in the days, we used to see Parks and Recreation. have all these activities, going to the parks, going to Disney World, Busch Gardens, and Seaquarium, all those things when I was growing up. But we got way more millionaires and billionaires now that's coming out of the community, and we don't have any things in the summer. Summer used to be like the funk, man. We don't have any of that now. We got all these millionaires.
Flash down time. We know how that works.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, even the kids, the buses, everything, they don't have that stuff. And look at all the kind of money these professional athletes making. The stuff they on their ring or their chain can cover the expenses to a whole summer camp program and write it off. That's the crazy thing, and they can write it off. But again, money has changed and broken down the family, and it shouldn't be that. We should be in legacy status, man. We come from kings and queens.
We are kings and queens.
Yes, we are. I think a lot of us need to act like that, because I look at it in a way, not to contradict you in terms of kings and queens, but I always saw, in order for you to be the queen, you got to have a king. You can't be a father without a child. You can't be a mother without a child. You can be a surrogate, but I just look at, you have to have something to make that, that's why I look at males and females, men and women, grown boys and adult males. I always say there's elevation to this stuff.
There are levels. There are definitely levels.
Yes, man.
I'm looking forward to, 2023 was an amazing year for us, but I'm really looking forward to 2024, just to see where we're going to go, just to see new possibilities and opportunities that's going to present themselves, new guests, new dialogue, new accountability. Like you said earlier on the post, you said everybody learned the meaning of narcissist in 2023. I hope that everybody learns the meaning of accountability.
Yes.
Big.
Yes.
It's big, and accountability is extremely important.
Absolutely, man. But we're gonna as I mentioned to you, we're gonna take a little time off and get some new episodes, confirm some guests, because we're gonna come off banging with these powerful guests and powerful topics, And man, I'm glad that we got a chance to do this year in review and do a recap of 2023, man. Because again, it was a Suave-amazing year, a Suavecredible year, and I had a Suave-tastic time, man.
Definitely, everything was Suave amazing this year, like you say with your Suavecon, and I want to get everybody prepared, get ready for us, because we coming in 2024 with a little something new and a little something more fresh, and something that's going to be quite a bit more eye-opening, mind-blowing, thought-provoking. So just stay ready for us, and keep us tapped in and tuned in, because we're going to bring something fresh for you coming 2024. And I appreciate having me on tonight, brother. I'm glad that everybody came on and showed us love tonight. And we're looking forward to being able to explore these new spaces and places with you guys. So
absolutely,
make sure check us out.
So make sure, and we definitely will give everybody a forewarning when we get ready to come back on air. So just remember, great minds reach great places. We love you. Mean it. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Thanks again. We appreciate you.
All right. Suave afternoon. This is Brother Suave, your mind-blowing, thought-provoking, and eye-opening on-air personality, life coach, psychotherapist, author, and creator. So it is so many benefits to being proactive. I remember during the recession, I would hear people saying, listen, I need a job. And they wouldn't hire people who need it. And the person, they hired a person who had a job and they applied for another job as opposed to, I don't have a job. And
That's time to look for a job is when you already have one.
Yes. And again, Brother Frederick was saying this, I try not to get so caught up on religious philosophy and how spiritual are, but a foundation is so important because it gives you some morals and values, no matter if you're a Muslim, a Catholic, a Jehovah's Witness, or a Christian, or a Baptist, or whatever. You have to have respect. You can't do that. You can't do that stuff. And so we teach them emotional intelligence, teach them how to think about things before they react. Can't be impulsive. These are some of the learned behaviors as young. And just remember, great minds reach great places. I love you. I mean it. Bye-bye.
This program was made possible by Neighborhood Planet Broadcasting Systems, Neighborhood Planet Network, and from contributions to NPN TV from viewers like you.